Hello and welcome. I want to make this video about being present in role-playing games. It took a few takes already, but that was always a mistake. I'm trying to make it a free flow, so gonna stick through to the end and you can come along for the ride. So let's talk about being present in role-playing games as a role player. We all remember the old sessions, the past, right? And in the past we remember the cool fights that happened, or interesting choices we have taken. But in our memory, when we talk about a great session that we had, you were there and you enjoyed it, like you had a good time. After all, it's a hobby we do, we enjoy those things. But when we remember it, we discard the moments of out of character chatter about talking about some rules. How do I resolve the fireball spell? Is it a direct hit? Do I roll to attack, or does he roll a saving throw? Or how does the simulacrum work? We put those out of our minds when we remember the sessions. We remember them as if we were there, in the skin of the character. It's not the memes that we shared at the table about the funny cat jumping on the tabletop and knocking all the figures over. Or when we talk about stuff in life, about like troubles with the girlfriend or the current political events in your hobby. All of those things, they're like separate. When we remember the session of the past, they are discarded. Or we remember them as like, this was also at the table. And we're like, I didn't enjoy that. Or you might even enjoy this too. But we are talking about the role-playing game specifically. Right? And when it goes to the present in role-playing games, there's also the future. Right? As a player, as a game master. Especially as a game master, I have a nervous dread of preparing for the session. Will the players like it? Did I prepare enough? Is this corner of the world interesting enough that the players are walking into? Is the loot sufficient for the risk involved? Like, is the encounter balanced? Maybe I should sprinkle in some more enemies or reduce the hit points. So you think about those things, about things in the future of, is this gonna be a problem? And your mind is in the future. But it's not in the present. So don't, and this is the advice here, do not plan ahead of where you want the story to go, like a theater kid would like to do. We are not stopping the game to discuss between players what the twist could be in the scene for the player character. There's no choice by committee. You know what would be cool? If you would say to the other player's character, I am your father. But then the other player's character turns around and says, I know. That would be such a cool twist. Like a double twist. We are not doing that. Be present in the roleplay. We are not stopping to talk amongst the players how we solved the riddle to open the gates into the minds of Moria. Of discussing, is there a role I can do to figure out about the history of the mines? Can I make a history check? Maybe I have this spell that has a mechanic that is a like lore searching spell, and it will uncover the lore of the object I point the spell to. and tell it to me. Those have no place at the role-playing table. Be present. Pay attention when it's the other player's turn to what they say and to what they do. Embody the character. React to the events unfolding as they come. Roleplay requires presence, not the future or the past. This, I believe, this will unlock a deeper enjoyment from the role-playing game. You can react to the characters in the world whenever the GM and player role-plays them. That interaction, that back and forth between several players at the table, which includes the GM, will create and weave a more natural emerging story. And that will be a lot more enjoyable and interesting than if you stopped everything to talk with the players around the table how to write the story arc, or thinking up a clever solution with a gameplay mechanic, as a theater kid or wargamer would want to do. That's the point. If you're present, you can pick up what the players are putting down. If you think about the future then you are disconnecting yourself from the events unfolding in front of you. Try it out. It's what I'm doing at my tables right now. It's a conscious effort I am putting in as part of the 40 roleplay rule set that we are using on top of whatever we are playing. No out of character talk, no discussing rules, or we keep it as low as possible to minimum viable rules talk, only if it absolutely grinds everything to a halt and I need to know. There was a moment where I asked somebody cast a spell with his fighter that is a battle master and does a menacing attack. And I've asked, so he describes his menacing attack. I understood this is an effect because he's playing a class, but he's describing it in character. As a game master, I said, what does it do? 4 words, and he said, I think he said, wisdom saving throw, 14. If they fail, they are feared. Well, he said what it does. I actually cannot remember it right now. But that was short, it was concise, and we could understand, we could nod to each other, got it, and move on with the role play. Let the scene flow. We want to avoid stopping the flow of the game at all cost. So we can create those cool moments and spend more time in the world role-playing. And create an interesting narrative. Let it emerge through playing together. Now, I hope this is interesting to you as it's interesting to me. I've been thinking about this for a while. Didn't really know how to put it into words. But I felt strong enough to make a video about it, trying to collect my thoughts a little bit. I wanted to do it without script. And then I decided, I'm gonna write down some bullet points, make some notes, help myself clear it up, and then go through them. Now, I talked about it on the Discord, so I wanna look at what a couple people commented when I made my suggestion about the presence in role-playing games. Conway responded to me. He believes I'm correct. Thank you. I don't mean to self-flagellate. He agrees. Feels like people yearn for the future in role-playing games more so than the present, and they don't live in the moment. Yeah, I would see this as a common problem. If you sit at your table, you can pay attention and see like which player is trying to be present in the moment and which player is like leaning back and thinking about the future, like getting disconnected from the scene that is happening right now. This is especially true if you have a player at the table that is not in the scene. You know, one player goes to the shop to go shopping because they need some rations. So he's role-playing out a little scene with the shopkeep, gets to know him, makes it a bit more personal. But the other player, the wizard of the party, he's not in the shop. He's like outside on the streets. And it's not his turn. And he is, in this example, he is not present. He's leaning back, disengaging from what's happening, and thinking about the future of what he should do. Now, you don't have to do that. I much prefer you stay in the present, pay attention to what the players are doing, and listen to what they say. Absorb it. And have that be part of the memory that you recall later on. Like, oh, one of the other players, he had this really cool scene with the shopkeep that ended up having some emotional resonance because he collected the rations. The shopkeep realized, oh, you're skipping town? Are you going to come back? I've enjoyed your presence here at the tavern. And the player character realized, yeah, I guess I will leave. It was a good time while it lasted. Well, so long. I hope if it all goes well, I might return. And you might have skipped that entire moment if you zoned out and thought about your own scene. If the player is not present, then he might have just skipped along and cut it off like, I'm buying 5 rations. Here are 25 silver. I'm leaving. That might just happen, you know. If nobody's present, the chances for roleplay evaporate. They become very low. And it becomes hard to get into the world, into the flow. Conway also thinks that a level-based role-playing game exacerbates the problem. Exacerbates the problem. A lot of the content is reading cool stuff you can do in the future. Yeah, that's a problem. You play a character and you really love the idea of what he can do at level 12, but you start at level 3 and you spend 6 months leveling up. Which is 6 months is generous. Like, I've played many tables. I've never reached level 12 in my example, but I can see it taking more than a year easily at a conventional table. So, if you want to play something that you think is really cool in the future, then you can just talk about with the players, hey, can we just play at that level instead and have those cool moments now? We don't have to spend a year of playing to play out a scene that would only really make sense if we are level 12. You can make it a one-shot to explore those ideas, or a short campaign, or you can move on time and have the players like evolve the characters a bit. What would it be like if they leveled up 5 more times? Where would they be in life? And you go from there, you pick it up from there, see how that goes. Dom, also known as Bleaknik, responded, being present is practiced very well in this space. With this space he means the RPG Crusade, the 4D Discord server. The emphasis on the present tense narration, meaning, don't tell us what you're going to do, tell us what you do. It's not I'm going to open the door, it's I'm opening the door. Pushing open the handle. I kick in the door. That's what we do. Not I am going to attack the door. It's I swing my axe at the door. I think it can be a good lesson to expand upon, scrutinizing those games and cultures like old school, Renaissance with its emphasis on planning the dungeons and puzzles. Wizards of the Coast indie players in planning the build in a video to implore people to not worry too heavily on the future. That was a comment on me. Yeah, don't worry too heavily on the future. Like, don't get lost in the details. I guess we talked about this by now. Make a solid social contract and play the game. The social contract, I made a video on this. You can watch it on my video. Discussing with each other what is okay at the table and what do we leave out when we start playing. Like I talked before, no out of character talk, no rules questions, like no food at the table. Have a camera on so we can look at each other. You know, if it's a live table, obviously no cameras needed. Or bring your dice, have the dice ready with you. It depends like how basic, like what the situation is at your table, but you want to reach, you want the players to agree to the contract. And you want the players to be comfortable with what you've set up, what you've put, with the rules you're putting forward. That's why you need the room to talk about this. Everything else is secondary and can enhance your game, but they are not worth worrying about them if that means hindering your opportunity to roleplay. That was Dom's comment. And Conway retorted, I think this is a good point, I'm gonna put this in here. And after that I think we will stop the video. To a certain extent, from Conway, planning is not a negative. The issue is when planning detracts from the present. Nothing wrong with imagining how the game might go. But if you start desiring that future, then it's a bias that will impact the present negatively. This is taking a more base level principle of narration to its expected conclusion. It's a natural pillar of immersive role-playing. And I would agree with that with Conway. So that's where I'm gonna end the video. I hope you got something from this. I hope you learned something, or at least something to think upon, on how to help your roleplay, how to improve your role-playing table. Maybe just a topic to discuss with your players. You know? See if this is something they would like to explore. Immersive roleplay, or just getting more roleplay, or trying out the 4D roleplay style. If you liked what you heard, go ahead and like and subscribe. I leave it up to you. Yeah, I think that's it. Have a good day, guys. Enjoy your time.